everybody. My name is Dr. Erin English, and I have the pleasure of being your instructor for this upcoming class. And a few of you have been in my class before, so you know my style and what to expect. But for the rest of you, I'll give you a little background about me, and hopefully you'll get to know me a little bit and make this class a more enjoyable experience for you. First of all, as I said, my name is Erin English, and a little bit about myself is I have been in education for about 28 years. I've been a principal for 9 years, and I was an IT director. I was a instructional technology coordinator, and now currently I am a blended and online learning director for the Vista Unified School District. And also concurrently, I am a principal of a K-12 independent study program. So I kind of wear both hats. And so that's what I do for work during the day. And then I'm a board member for Bonsall Unified School District. I work for Vista Unified School District, and I'm a board member in Bonsall Unified School District, so I have a different perspective in that job. And I've been teaching for Concordia for about 5 years now. Most of my experience with Concordia has been in face-to-face classes, but for the last 2 years I've been picking up some online classes just in different arenas. What I'd like to ask you is I'm trying to improve my teaching skills online, and I don't know really what it's like to be on the other side of my classes. So if you have ways that, if you have any suggestions for improvement, I would certainly welcome those. And just like I will give you suggestions to improve your craft, if you can give me suggestions to improve my online teaching, I would really appreciate it. Sometimes you are in so many different classes that you can say, hey, Dr. English, you know, this instructor is doing this, you might want to try that. And that helps because I don't take other classes with other instructors. So I'm always looking for ways to improve. And I'm sure you are as well. That's why you're here. So that's a little bit about myself. I also I work in Vista Unified School District, where Vista is, for those of you who don't know, it's in San Diego County. And it's east of Oceanside and west of Escondido, and it's in North San Diego County. And so I work there, and I live in Bonsall, California, which is about 20 minutes from Vista. And I live with my husband and my daughter, who's 28, and her 2 children. And I have a 7-year-old grandson and a 6-year-old granddaughter. And we're right in the middle of renovating our whole house, and we're about 5 months into a project. And for those of you who have ever renovated anything before, it's quite an experience, not one that I would want to go through again. But we haven't had a kitchen sink in 4 months, possibly about 4 months, and we have a microwave oven and things like that. So I understand stress, and hopefully, a good thing is everyone's healthy, so I don't understand that kind of stress right now. But as far as my house goes, I think I have 6 more weeks left on this big, huge, giant project. And so you'll be celebrating with me in the middle of this class. All of a sudden, if you hear me hooting and howling over here, you'll know that our house project is almost done. But we live in an old 50-year-old house, and we thought we'd move, and we looked for a house, and we really like where we live, so we decided instead of moving, we were just going to renovate, thinking, oh, piece of cake, no problem. We're just going to redo our whole house. Well, we found out that's pretty complicated. So if anyone needs a good contractor, I have the perfect contractor. So let me know. He's wonderful. So that's a little bit about myself. And now we'll go into the class and what you can expect. Like I said, we're teaching 557. It's HR class. You'll need this book right here, School of Personnel Administration Human Resources. And the book is kind of expensive, so I apologize for that in advance. But it's a current book, and it gives what's going on right now in HR. And in my job as a school administrator and as a district administrator, most of my time is spent working with people or working on people problems and trying to avoid people problems. So people always think, well, why do I have to take an HR class when I just want to be a school principal? Or why do I need to take a class when I just want to do something else? Well, most of our time, just like most of our budget, goes to human resources and people. And and if it's not students, it's going to be your staff, because basically if you're a school principal, you are the principal of your teachers, and your teachers are the teachers of the students. So basically you're managing your people. You're always managing people. And if I've learned one thing, that is you take care of your people that you work with so you don't have problems down the road. So we'll be going through this class, and if I really want to encourage you to read through the syllabus before we meet on Wednesday night, which I'll talk to in a minute. But I want to encourage you to read through the syllabus. You're going to notice right away that unlike a lot of the other classes that you've had, this class has a lot of writing in it. You're going to be doing a lot of papers, not a lot of papers, but very deep papers, very lengthy papers. So start thinking about that now, and you have a paper due. I believe it's pretty quickly. You're going to have a research paper due pretty quickly. So we'll go over exactly the time frame and when things are due at our class on Wednesday. But one thing I want to talk to you before I talked about it Wednesday class is that I am I rely very heavily on APA formatting, because I also teach the capstone class, which is the very last class, and I have found that many of the students used to come to me and had never experienced APA before, and it was really hard, because it was hard on them to put it all of a sudden have to do this big 2-semester project together and not understand APA. They were drowning. So as a result, I started teaching classes in the beginning of your time with Concordia, in hopes that I could at least influence people to start using APA. So if you don't know APA now, you're going to need to know it. So one of the course requirements of this class is that you have the APA book. You're going to need it. I highly recommend that you familiarize yourself with APA. I don't mean you have to memorize it, because I know it and I don't have it memorized. But you need to know how to go through your book. You might want to put tabs and things and really know how to get through that book. So make sure you know that. The other resource we'll be using quite extensively is Grammarly, and I'm going to talk about that on Wednesday night, how you can get a free Grammarly account. Grammarly is an online account where you take the text, you take the context of your papers, copy your paper, and just basically paste it into a program, and it tells you exactly where your APA problems are, and it also tells you any grammatical or spelling errors that you have. And it grades it. It actually grades your paper. So what I'm going to be doing is when I get your papers, I'm going to be doing the same thing. I'm going to be putting your papers into Grammarly, and that's how I'm going to be grading some of the paper, or I'll be grading them that way and for content. So I'll be grading them 2 ways, one APA and one in content. So if you go through APA but prior to sending it to me, you're going to automatically get a good grade on that part of it. So it's a free program. We'll go through it. We'll go through it on the first night, just so you know how to do it. It's really easy, and it gives you a score. It'll actually score your paper. So I highly recommend using it. So we're going to meet the first time on Wednesday night coming up, and Wednesday is it's an online synchronous class, as you're familiar with. I'm going to send you a link. I'll be sending you a link shortly in our announcements. It's going to tell you how to log on. So please, when you log on as a guest. Log on to the website I give you, and then it's an Adobe account, Adobe Classroom. You're going to log on as a guest, and then log on with your full name as a guest. Once you get in, it's going to ask you for your name. Please sign in with your full name, the name that you've registered with at Concordia. Please don't use nicknames, and don't use names that I wouldn't be familiar with, because what I do is I take the transcript of what our class is online, and I use that to give you a grade, or I give you credit for being there. And so it is a participatory class. It's not just me talking. This first class it will be. I'll be talking more than you. So we'll be having you mute your microphones. But I do, participation is required, so you're going to need to make sure I know that you're paying attention, basically. So every once in a while just comment so I know you're live. It gives me some feedback. And I'd like to hear from a few of you, so I'm going to unmute you and you can ask questions. So on Wednesday night, we're going to be meeting at 6 o'clock. And so at 6 o'clock, we're going to go online. We'll have a few minutes to get ready, get adjusted, so allow for that. So when you get on, don't be frustrated. with people who haven't done this before. Because the first time people do this, if you haven't done this before, sometimes you have complications. But the big thing is mute your microphone right off the bat. Mute it so that we don't hear background noise. You might not think we're going to hear it, but we hear every little paper crumbling. We hear your dog barking. We hear your children crying, which I like kids, but not during our class. So we hear kids crying and just all kinds of stuff going on, and it bothers everybody in the class. So let's make sure we mute the microphone, and then we'll just text each other during the class, but I'll be talking and going through the agenda. So I'd like you to read the agenda before, read the syllabus, read the syllabus prior to our class, because I'd like you to generate some questions that you have for me about the class. And we'll go through it page by page on Wednesday night together. And then we'll also go over Grammarly. Okay, and you're going to need Grammarly, and you're going to need your APA guide for this class. It's a little bit different than the other classes. The other classes didn't have as many papers. This one has a couple of really big projects, or really big written projects. All right, that's all I have for this evening, and I look forward to talking to you. Wednesday night we'll be all logging in at 6. Plan on starting our presentation at about 6:15. Okay, but I would like everyone logging in so we can make introductions and things like that from 6 to 6:15, and then we'll start going through the agenda about 6:15. This will be the first and only time that we meet all together as a group. Following this, what I'm going to do is break you up in small groups so we have a better chance of having conversation. All right? I look forward to talking to you on Wednesday night. All right, take care. Bye-bye.